right, so greetings, fellow heroes. I'm Arish Rivers.
Matthew Olivieri, my bad. Matthew Olivieri.
And I'm Geno Giovanni.
Hey, we're all back in the same room together.
Wow.
How about that?
Inside, what are we calling it? The lab now?
Yeah, it's the AdHeroPodcast. It's the lab, the laboratory. I dig
Not the
that.
studio, the lab.
Yeah, that has a better flavor to it.
Oh yeah. So, well, anyways, I'm super stoked for our guest today. Say hello, Seth.
Hey there.
Hey there. Yeah. So Seth.
I'm not in the room.
Seth is not in the room. You're in Vegas today.
I am in Vegas. Yeah, I'm at home today.
Okay, right on. So everybody listening, Seth Yudof is a founder of UDFactory. He's a TEDx speaker, music and entertainment producer, and self-described, help me if I say this wrong, Italophile, right? Just somebody who's with a love and appreciation for all things Italian.
I am a fan. I'm a fan of Italy.
Right on. Matthew, Geno, you guys share a pretty good bloodline to Italy, no?
Yes.
Right?
Sì, io sono italiano.
Yeah.
Geno's got to be Italian.
Yeah. But Matthew takes the cake.
Right on. You guys know who else is Italian, actually?
Who?
Actually, it's kind of a low-hanging fruit thing. Like, the Punisher is Italian.
I did not know
Oh,
that.
you mean the John Berthal?
Oh, well, both. Both the character. Frank Castle's Italian. John Barenthal's... Well, John Barenthal, and I actually wrote this down. Let me see if I can get this right. And Seth, you might be able to help me on this, Ashkenazi Jewish. It's like a Jewish diaspora population that kind of coalesced during the Holy Roman Empire, kind of near the end of the millennium. I'm a nerd.
Totally lost. But I do want to say that I saw Geno post something the other day, since we're just jumping flat out into the banter section of the show here. I saw Geno post something that I thought was pretty cool. Someone put up a billboard, relevant to our business obviously, promoting to bring Daredevil back.
That's
yeah,
right.
I did see
So, what's that about?
So there is a coalition that, seriously, that is, I believe it's in New York, and they have done a huge campaign and to try to save the show that was on Netflix called Daredevil, or Marvel's Daredevil. And what they did was they got together a online group. They printed out a bunch of different styles of t-shirts. You can get all different styles of colors too. And it's the hashtag is Save Daredevil. They also did billboard campaigns inside New York City's Times Square.
Wow.
They did at least 2 billboards.
That is a serious effort right there.
for Daredevil.
All this
That
for
is a serious
Daredevil.
It's got to be
Yeah,
followed.
and I was.
I remember you were a fan of the show.
Oh,
right? You are.
I'm still a fan of the show,
huge fan.
and the
Okay.
basically to sum it all up, Netflix decided to take down or cancel all the Marvel shows because of Disney Plus, because they're going to be a direct competitor,
Yeah.
and so
Lame.
everyone's just kind of like, well, what the heck? And then there was rumors that eventually Marvel Studios will get the characters and reboot them all, and the people are like, no, you finally got it right. You finally got the stories right. You finally got the characters right. You finally got the actors right. Don't change a thing.
Right.
And so now the rumor is that things won't get changed, and the shows will probably go on to either FX or Hulu.
Wow.
Yeah, maybe.
Really?
That's the rumor, and it works too because now Disney owns both those networks.
That sounds like
That's dirty.
Is that a live update right now? Is that like a live news?
Is that
It's
legal?
it's a rumor from a couple of days ago.
Oh,
It
okay.
sounds really true,
Huh.
and they just had this thing called the Saturn Awards, which are you familiar with that?
I'm not. Seth, Saturn Awards? You hear that?
Saturn Awards.
I'm still in shock that we're breaking Disney news on here.
Oh, we do that a lot.
Yeah.
Whether it's Disney, Marvel, DC,
There's no place the AdHeroPodcast won't venture.
I know, right?
So
That's a scary implication.
Daredevil won for best streaming show or something like that, and Vincent D'Onofrio was there. Jeff Loeb, I believe, who's head of Marvel Television, was there, and they give a great speech and about how the show really means a lot to people,
Interesting.
and about how it needs a network.
Needs a network.
I'm sure it'll find a home.
Every good show needs a home.
Every good show needs a home. I'm sure with that kind of audience demand, I'm sure somehow, some way it'll get back on the air. But interesting tip on streaming services. So, little humble brag right now. As you guys know, we were at CineQuest. For our listening audience, we had the honor of beginning to be a sponsor of CineQuest Film Festival here in San Jose, California, earlier this year. And there was a film that had its premiere there called Augie, which was a movie about a retiree guy, Richard Kind, very famous actor, and he gets forced into early retirement, so to speak, and as a parting gift, they give him a pair of augmented reality glasses. And he puts on these glasses, and this beautiful female appears, and she is like his personal confidant, right? And he's kind of having a midlife crisis. Not to give away the entire movie, this is all in the synopsis. Okay. But he's having like this midlife crisis because he's been forced into early retirement. And this augmented reality woman, who's very beautiful, gives him a new reason to live, so to speak. But it's all made up, right? Because she's not real. So there's all these things that happen. It's really well done. Well, lo and behold, we connected with the director and producer, and actually specifically took him out, and we had some libations after the film, after the premiere. Really cool guys, and they took that film to like 10 other festivals after CineQuest. It won all these awards. It just got picked up by Metro Goldwyn.
Oh yeah!
Oh wow!
And it is going to be in theaters now. And I just connected with them yesterday, so they're going to be doing an open display billboard campaign in the cities, New York, LA, different markets that's going to be appearing.
Wow!
But here's why, full circle of life. When they release it in theaters, they're going to simultaneously release it video on demand. So it's going to be available on iTunes and Amazon. Now here's the question for you guys, right? So I was asking them this question. I'm going to ask you guys the same.
Okay.
It seems like this is the new flavor of movie releases, television show releases, where specifically films, it gets the big theater release, and then it simultaneously is instantly available online. See, what is your guys' take on that? Is that taking away?
Netflix is doing that, right? Netflix has
right.
an Irishman movie.
Yes.
And they're actually going to put it in the theaters for 3 weeks before they put it on Netflix.
So open-ended question for everyone. I mean, does that take away from like the umph of having your movie appear in the theaters, or is that just getting on board with the changing of the tides?
I think it's probably changing the tides. It makes life a little bit easier, if anything, because I mean, I have a toddler at home.
Okay.
And one of my like really deep personal joys is just going to the movies on my own or with somebody. And I haven't, and Geno too. I mean, you also got a kid, right? And we just haven't been able to.
Right here.
Yeah, he's watching. He's spying on your kid. And so going to the movies.
I send my kid to the movies by himself just to get him out of the house.
When they get a little bit older.
By the way, I love going to movies by myself. It's great.
It's great.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I can't do it though when I'm daddy on duty or we don't have a good. We got a guy who lives with us at our house, but he's not like, he's not going to take the reins watching my daughter.
To answer your question,
so the flexibility of the VOD option is good for you.
I would, love to see my boxers.
It's good for me. I just don't know if it's good for the industry.
Why not? I mean, people, they get residuals anyway, right? As long as these things are syndicated out.
And I agree. I'm just kind of concerned because there's a strong push to bring back people to the theater. And to me, I think they're doing a really good job with like redoing all these theaters, the way that they're like comfortable and everything, the big screens. But I don't know. This is all new to me, so I have to give it a few more
years. It comes about the viewing experience.
I was just gonna say, Seth, what's your hot take on it?
Period of time that you're in the theater, now I can choose. Do I want to go one of these few weeks, or just wait a couple of weeks for it to be on TV? What I like about this is now I know when I'm going to see it on TV. Whereas normally it's like this game. Like how long is the new Spider-Man going to play in the theaters before they put it streaming? Yeah,
that's I remember it used to be like 6 months, and then now it's like, oh, the movie's done in theaters, and 5 days later, like get on demand.
I will say on a personal note, with the clarity and the high definition 4K HD TVs that we can all buy now, that are reasonably priced. I mean, they're dropping, right?
Yeah.
You can get a 72-inch massive screen in your living room, super high def, and best of all, personal pet peeve, you don't have to worry about some idiot who bought a $20 ticket and then is like talking on their cell phone or like texting during the film, sitting right next to you. I still don't understand how opening night of a major film, people will pay all that money and sit down and start texting and doing all these annoying things that's like, stop it, I'm trying to watch the movie. So you don't have that problem if you're watching it from your house. So
well, you know what, the question, and actually this kind of segues into more of what Seth does. And Seth, yeah, you do a lot of things, without spoiling it all.
I think we need to let him give us a little context.
Let's have him do that. So a little bit of context for you guys, because just so he's not a stranger. I mean, Seth, you and I connected probably close to a year ago, I think, when reached out to you about your show I Love the 90s. And the Vegas, yeah. So since then, we touched base a couple of times for some of your other projects. Which I'm super interested in those. Actually, I'm really interested in those. You were recently a speaker at TEDx Luxembourg, and you had some extremely insightful and valuable things to say. So for our listeners and possible viewers, if we get this video aspect right, without me spoiling everything, could you give us a quick introduction about what it is you do, what is UDFactory, and what's your superpower?
All right, it is okay. It's hard to define what I do. But I have been artist manager, produce shows, live shows, promote concerts. I've owned a nightclub, 3 different restaurants. I'm sort of a serial entrepreneur, really.
Nice.
And I try to keep that entrepreneurial vision aligned with my musical interests. And years ago, I was a performer, so I was a guitar player and I was a magician, believe it or not. I toured around the world doing that. We don't discuss that. Okay? But it's a dark time in my life. But so like right now I have 2 shows running in Vegas. I have a show called Tenors of Rock that's at Planet Hollywood. It just finished up 2.5 years in Harrah's. We just moved it over about 6 months ago. Then I have a show at Bally's called Misbehave Game Show. And it is a ridiculous, crazy time. It's like, I didn't start the show. I was brought in at one point to look at it, and I said, okay, I only have 10 minutes, so I have to be somewhere. And my wife and I were there, and we stayed like 45 minutes, and we had to drag ourselves out of there until we could leave. And it's really the most fun I've ever had watching a show. So
nice. Is it interactive? Is it an audience interactive show?
So if I were to describe it to you, it is a show I would not want to see. So I always hesitate to tell people about it. You are like, you're in a room, you're pitted, like your half of the room is pitted against the other half of the room, so you're like teamed up with people you don't know against people you don't know or care about for points that mean nothing, prizes that you're gonna have. And no matter, and I don't like interactive shows, like I'd rather sit back and just watch and enjoy. And even just as a producer, like I enjoy watching people and I enjoy watching the lights and whatever, and just figuring out how a show works. And but this show, like even now after seeing it hundreds of times, I find myself yelling out answers to things.
Nice.
And it's a really, really fun show. And so it's one that I have big plans for. I still manage a couple acts. In the past, I've had some relatively major artists who managed Blues Traveler for 3-4 years.
We all just heard that harmonica go off, didn't you? Yeah.
I have a bit of a visceral reaction to the harmonica myself, but we don't have enough time for those stories. And then I managed the Plain White Tees for a while.
Cool.
I've been managing Louis Prima Jr., Geno, Italian. You got to know Louis Prima.
Oh yeah. Big time.
So Louis' dad was famous Italian American singer, 50s and 60s. Louis Jr. just has an amazing band. They tour all over the country.
Hey, Seth, can I jump in and ask you a quick question, just out of curiosity? How many years have you been out in Vegas now?
Coming up on 19 years.
So in 19 years of time, what would you say? How has Vegas changed from the 1950s, 60s, 70s of Vegas that they made so many movies about to now, like, is it like corporate Vegas now? Is just everything run by big corporations?
This is a tough one for me, and you don't have enough time on this podcast for me to get into this, but I think the corporatization of Vegas is becoming its downfall. And, there are just some things that you can't accurately measure on a spreadsheet. They're especially now when there's something important about any city, but I'm just going to speak about Vegas, about it maintaining its uniqueness as a destination.
Right.
And I think as gaming shows it up all over the country, Vegas is unfortunately, because of corporatization, is becoming homogenized. We are watching a Target get built on the Strip right now. We have 2 Outback Steakhouses. We have a Ross Dress for Less. I mean, name a city that you can't go to those in. So
right.
Why would you come to Vegas for that? So, I think restaurants still stand out here. Vegas and New York pretty much are the best restaurants in the country. But, it's just like, because every piece of the city has a bottom line that they watch now, I feel like you get wallet raped from the moment you step off the plane. So you no longer have that free cash to gamble. You no longer get that vibe of like going to see a free show or get a free meal or have that cool experience you can't have anywhere else.
Right.
And they're doing new stuff here in entertainment, and some of it I really, really like, but I don't think they're doing anything that's new enough to drive enough customers to make a big difference. So,
Great insight.
they're driving enough customers to steal people from my show to go watch Lady Gaga, but not enough to bring so many more people to town that we all benefit. I don't know the exact numbers, I'd have to look it up, but compared to, let's say, 10, 15 years ago, I'm guessing, but we've got to have at least double the number of seats to fill in shows, and we certainly don't have double the number of visitors. They're building a stadium for the Raiders, and they're building another arena, which will be our, 5th or 6th arena here. I mean, and basically we're the size of San Antonio at the end of the day. So, it's weird to watch. I think that there's a lot that could be done to make Vegas unique, to drive traffic, and I think that, and I actually believe, as a music guy, I have a whole plan in my head that certainly don't have enough zeros to be able to fund, but what's happening in the music industry with record labels, I think there's a way for Vegas to get involved in sort of fixing that whole business model, getting away from labels and getting into venue owners that are developing talent.
Well, with everybody vying for these audiences, I mean, how? I guess I have 2 questions. Kind of first is, how do you pull your segment away to to come and see your shows and to benefit your business? And then secondly, just what are some of the mechanisms that you use to do that?
So the really honest answer is probably that I don't exactly know, because it's changing so quickly that we're trying a lot of new things. So the thing that I have that let's say Live Nation doesn't have when they do all these big residency shows is we're scrappier, smaller. And while that's a bad thing in many cases, sometimes it's a good thing because it's personal connection. I have a team of people that goes out and meets with the concierges up and down the Strip and talks to various ticket vendors. That misbehaved game show we talked about. The last year, I have spent virtually $0 marketing it because it's very hard show to market. It's hard to describe unless you throw sick money at marketing it. So instead, I pulled back on marketing. The people who have actually seen it, like the people who sell the tickets, love it. So they tell people when they say, "What else should we see?" "Oh, you got to see Misbehave. It's hilarious." And so that was a weird lesson. Like, pull back my marketing to be more successful in that show. So the scrappiness helps, and something Arish, that you and I have talked about in the past is when I can't blanket the city. Like when Stefani's here, you see billboards everywhere. The trucks driving up and down the Strip with her picture. Caesars puts her picture on every single casino. They don't do that for my 300-seat showroom. So how do I compete? Well, I mean, it's a very targeted approach. It's when you guys deal with digital display, so Friday is when, if you check out the Visitor Convention Bureau statistics, Friday is when most people arrive. So between 4 p.m. and 9 p.m., I might be putting up digital billboards near the airport. And it's not the same as blanketing for the week, but I'm targeting when the most people arrive and trying to get them there. And then I have digital taxi tops I've done, and I've only done them during dinner rush hour. And it all adds up to, for a small group of people, they get multiple impressions. But a large group of people won't see anything.
I kind of like that.
Sort of choosing your battles in the same way you would with online like programmatic marketing, which obviously even more targeted, but where you're going after a customer you believe likes this show you do, is the right demographic, at least is a lookalike demographic. You go over travel intenders that are coming to Vegas. So we are trying to take the same approach in outdoor marketing that we're doing with online marketing.
That reminds me a lot of, it sounds like a really guerrilla style, and this is actually how I met Geno years ago, when we were both working in nightlife. And I was a bouncer, and Geno was that promoter who would just be like, hey, I'll be right back. And he would disappear, buddy, and come back with like just droves of people behind you, and just kind of in that guerrilla, on the spot, highly targeted type of essentially marketing. I mean, you would go out and talk about what was going on at the club that night and bring people back.
Yeah. So does that resonate with you? What he
It
said
does.
from your experiences?
Yeah, and I learned it from Vegas.
Wow.
Well, part of it, I mean, I've always kind of had that kind of attitude anyway. But Seth, actually, I have one question for you. Do you see? Actually, I guess you kind of already answered it, but it's a little bit more on it. I'd like to know the decline in young people, probably from like 25 to like 40, coming to Vegas. It just seems like last decade, from like 2009 to like 2013, was like a huge heyday for that particular audience. Now I just don't see that audience going to Vegas, posting on social media.
I think that's also a corporatization issue. So you'll hear in meetings up and down the strip, I hear talking about millennials and attracting millennials. But you hear this happening from people who don't interact with millennials, are not hands-on with social media and what's going on. And look, I have to come to the realization that I am aging out of, knowing what's going on. But I also always like to be smart enough to know what I don't know. So I think that the truth is that audience, that millennial audience, doesn't want to go to a show, at least not a show like we consider a show. I don't even know that they want the nightclub experience. That they want it in the sense that it's an immersive, the lights and the music, and it's a great experience. I don't think they want the over-the-top, $2,000 bottle of vodka, or spraying the champagne. I don't think that's what they want. So Vegas is just not adapting very well. I'm working on a couple new projects that are not, that are, I suppose, entertainment, but are not shows, so to speak. Like they're not, buy tickets, sit in the audience, watch a show. It's much more interactive. I'll say here immersive. I would never say the word immersive in our marketing because it's like, how do you know something's not cool? It's because they tell you it's cool.
Right. Right.
Yeah, but I think you have to adapt. I don't want to disparage anyone here, but I see it in meetings that I'm in where the marketing, the discussion about what they want to do with marketing, it's like, wow, you really don't understand like who does what on Instagram, do you, or that TikTok exists, or like there are these platforms I don't even know about. They're still trying to figure out Facebook, that my parents are on,
Right.
So. It's changed a lot. And then also, what hasn't changed in Vegas is there's a lot of noise. So figuring out how to cut through the noise is important. And so when you talk about your nightclub experience here, I had a club called Cat House. It was a club store. We opened at the end of 2007. And I did that. And then right around the same time, I had a haunted house that I ran in New York. I forgot about this. 2 years in a row. It was up the bridge in front of New York.
Oh, wow.
And that haunted house, that was a super high traffic area. And I hired like a team of, pretty girls in costumes to give out discounts. And I became convinced that I couldn't give away a $20 bill with a hot girl in a costume because people were just like, it's like there's so much going on and you just want to say, no, it's all right, I don't need that. And they just walk through and Vegas is just like figuring out how to cut through the noise is a real issue here. I'm working on another idea that is, how to access ticket buyers without confronting them with everything that's around them. How to create a more, curated experience. Because I defy you to go to Vegas.com and figure out what the cool new show is or the cool new restaurant. And it's like, it's just impossible. And then if you mix that with the fact that you've searched on Google and Vegas.com is just one of the places that you're getting your results from, now it's like, how do you know? I mean, you just don't know where to go. You don't know what's good. You don't know what a real deal is. So, and I think that everything getting overpriced here because the corporation's doing the paid parking and the resort fees, and then the confusion of where to go. I just think it's all piling up to families saying, you know, it's the same price to go to Hawaii. Let's not go to Vegas this year.
And it sounds like you almost have to really get people not in Vegas, but it might actually do you well to go where it's not as noisy, where, you know, like a big corporation wouldn't think to say, okay, let's go advertise in, like, I don't know, people from Ohio go to Vegas, right? So it's like, let's go advertise in the airport, where...
They do a lot of feeder market advertising. That's something that, unfortunately, the scale of our shows, I generally can't afford to do. We did some of that. So our I Love the 90s show, we had more of that going on. My partners on that were Salt and Pepper, and we had a lot of big artists. So we didn't have to do as much as I originally planned on in our marketing plan because